Meegs, Michael, we're live, I think.
I think we are. This is the JetHeads Pre-Game Show, doing our first test drive for Preseason Game 1. Paul, we have gone 7 months without watching the Jets emotionally torment us on a football field. And I know you would have loved to have been watching more Sesame Street characters at an amusement park today instead of, coming home to do this live show with me. So I think what the listeners all want to know is, if you could pick one Sesame Street character to symbolize this Jets team, who would you pick?
So I think I'm going to give you two answers here. I'm going to go Snuffleupagus for the Jets franchise as a whole, right? Mm-hmm. But I think for this team in particular, I'm going to go with Animal. Is Animal a Muppet or is he a Sesame Street guy?
Dude, I know Bert, Ernie, and the guy in the trash can. That's literally it.
Maybe Oscar the Grouch is the best comparison. For a little background here, I woke up today and I was supposed to have a nice little beach day with my family. We were supposed to go down early. We were supposed to be home by early afternoon. Nice little day with the kids. My wife calls down south and finds out that the water's going to be a little rough today. They might have a red flag up. So she hits a hard audible on me and forces me to drive 90 minutes to Sesame Place in Pennsylvania, where I was just among just the worst you could possibly imagine of humanity. And it was hot and all kinds of stuff going on. So I got home at like 5 o'clock, 5:30, and I hadn't even figured out how we were going to do this stream yet. Hadn't prepped for the show at all. So me and Meegs got hard after it at about 5:30 p.m. and we started prepping, and it looks like we're live on YouTube, we're live on X, we're live on Instagram. I think it's all working. We got some cool graphics put in. We had a little music. We had an opener banner. So I think it all worked out. But you and I lived very different lives today.
Yes. I am dog sitting this weekend. So I was at the bar last night. I woke up at 9. I walked the dog. I went to the grocery store. I got some lunch, took a 3-hour nap, woke up and was like, hey, I got a live show to prep for. So the benefits of being childless bearing their fruit once again. But people aren't here to listen to us talk about our daily lives. They're here to talk. They're here to listen to us talk about this football team that we have decided to dedicate our lives to for reasons that remain unknown, don't make sense to the people around us, but some reason we're still doing it. The Jets are playing the Packers. Last time they were in Lambeau, the Jets were maybe the peak of the Bob Saleh tenure. Sauce with a cheese head, that crazy Breece Hall touchdown on that fake handoff reverse thing. Everything was green. Everything was, hunky-dory. Basically was all downhill from there, but we got a new coaching staff who are going to be playing the starters tonight. So what are your expectations for tonight, Paul, with the Packers playing their starters? The Packers are a better team than the Jets, a more well-balanced team, but I think it's fair to say the Jets have the stars in this matchup with Quinn and with Sauce, with Garrett. I think would be in contention for being the best player on the Packers roster.
And there we go. First error, right?
There we go. First mute button.
Yeah, I don't expect to see much from the Packers. I think you're right that the Jets have a little bit more star power. The Packers are obviously a much more, they're further down the road with the current regime that they have in place. They're established. It's a better franchise, all that stuff. We have the star players. I think LaFleur comes from the Shanahan school, right? So I would not expect really to see anything from the Packers at all. Meanwhile, you have the Jets, who are in a completely different position where they haven't made the playoffs in 15 years. The Packers have been to the playoffs what feels like almost every year in the last 15. And the Jets kind of need to come out and show something. They don't need to. That's not the right word. Need isn't the right word. But I think they are going to want to come out and show something. I'm curious to see how serious the coaching staff not only takes the game, but how they carry themselves on the sideline. I think during the Sally years, there was a lot of like joking around on the sideline and laughing and everybody smiling. And Aaron Glenn's an intense dude. And like, I don't know if we've kind of seen him in a football environment laughing and smiling and joking around and having a good time. So I think it's probably going to be a little bit of a different look of the tone on the sideline. I would love to put out a theory that like LaFleur wants to get one back for his boy in Saleh, but like it's preseason game one. Like nothing like that is going on. So I think you're probably going to see one team treating this like a glorified scrimmage, and you're going to see another team who probably wants to try to get after it a little bit, at least for a series or two. And then we'll go into the normal preseason ceremonies. Like what are you expecting to see?
So, like, I don't think the Aaron Glenn tenure is going to be made or broken tonight with how they do and how they perform. But you could definitely set the tone for how you want to approach game day. You know, it's a whole practice what you preach mentality. You know, we want to be perfect in practice so we can be perfect on Sundays. Like, this is a step, you know, whether it's a glorified scrimmage, whether the starters play one series or two, you know, can the Jets just show better effort? Like, Quinn Williams and Brian Cowher are both out tonight. Like, the Jets' run defense is a huge question. The Packers are a very good rushing attack. Can your secondary players, you know, fit their gaps a little better? Yeah, they're not as talented as your starters, but like, can you see if your scheme can show, you know, what they've been preaching, that, yeah, they didn't go super aggressive in addressing that position because they think with coaching, with the talent they have, they can get better results than the sieve that was the Jets run defense last year. So I'm looking to see like what little impact the coaching has had so far instilling this new system, and just see how comfortable everyone is, because there's a lot of new players. There's a lot of young players on this team. They're trying to turn over this roster in their image. And how do they do the basics? You know, if they get to run a 2-minute drill tonight, how does Aaron Glenn do that? You know, do the play calls come in? Do they manage the clock well? Does he burn, you know, any timeouts in a way that you're like, hey, I don't really think you should be doing that? Like, none of these things, any of these mistakes he made is going to be like a detriment or like show that Aaron Glenn's going to be a bad coach. But it'd be nice to show that if he starts off on the right foot and starts doing the right things well early, you'd expect him to continue that when the lights are brightest in the regular season.
Yeah, it's definitely low stakes. You mentioned, like, will we see a 2-minute drill? I wonder if we'll see a 2-minute drill with 8 minutes in the first quarter. You know what I mean? Like, hey, like, this is our second possession. Let's change up how we're doing it. We're going to go no huddle here. We're going to try to move the ball down the field quickly. You know, I'm not really sure what to see, but I think you're right that, like, no matter what happens, like, there should not be an overreaction in either direction. If Justin Fields leads a 80-yard 9-play drive on the first drive, we should not immediately say we're winning 13 games this year and we're going to win the AFC East and we're knocking off the Bills. Like, I think we should all like pump the brakes in either direction. If they look terrible, same deal, right? This is just a preseason game, and I think everybody that kind of watches us and tunes into us knows that, right? So it'll be interesting. I think really I'm almost looking more at the coaches than I am at the players tonight. There was a comment in here in the comment section that said, I just want to see some like concepts of an offense, right? Like, it doesn't need to be high flying. It doesn't need to be all the creative stuff. We don't need to see circus plays or anything like that. Just the concepts of something that looks like we can move the ball down the field on a consistent basis, which would be really nice, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what the Jets do. If Justin Fields goes 90 yards, you know, down the field on the first drive, we're going to call it the drive. We're going to say this is when the Aaron Glenn era started. We did see Bobby in the chat ask a very important question. Do you think AG is going to run the stairs tonight or nah? I mean, if Aaron Glenn's serious about what he preaches, if they lose, he should have the team running the stairs after the game. No, like, this is the kind of culture that we want to see from him. So I think that's the bigger question is, you know, how do they react to what happens, the mistakes that they made? Like, you know, like, I think people have gotten too like scared of like injuries happening in preseason, seasons being ruined. I know the famous Jet injury I always think of in the preseason, I'm pretty sure, isn't that when Keller's knee like exploded? Mm-hmm. Like, I thought, pretty sure that was a preseason injury, but like, you can see it can happen just at training camp. Like what happened to Rashawn Slater this week. Like, the Jets have a new system. The Jets have a new coaching staff. These guys need the reps. Like, if you think that you can go within playing like a series for each of your starters who are healthy right now, and then just think you're going to walk into MetLife week one and beat a team coached by Mike Tomlin, who's the Steelers, I think, do have more talent than the Jets. It's close, but I think they are a little more talented. I don't think that's the right approach. So I'm happy Glenn is, you know, not sugarcoating that, not shaking that away, and that he's going to have these guys play. Hopefully they play a full quarter, to be honest with you. I really want to see what this offense does. So I guess what we want to go into really is,
who
do you want to see?
Somebody in the comments just brought up the Sanchez injury. That's the one that I think about, is the Sanchez coming into the Snoopy Bowl in the fourth quarter because they decided that they wanted to flip it around, even though it was a competition with Geno, and they wanted to have him start that game. And just that going down the sideline and his shoulder separating, like that was, I was already anti-drafting Geno because I just thought it was too soon to pull the ripcord in that type of way. And that one kills me. I also, for some reason, Jason Sehorn tearing his ACL against the Jets on a kickoff return in the preseason, which may have been before you were born. I don't think it was.
I know who that is. Yeah, I would get smoked by Joe in Jets Jeopardy because the 1996 to 2004 is my gray area, and I would just get absolutely smoked for that ring. Like I'm pretty good like the end of Herm on, but like pre there is a black hole for me.
So Jason Sehorn was a white cornerback for the Giants in the 90s who ran back kicks, and he actually was pretty good. And then he blew out his knee against the Jets in the preseason running a kickback. And he lasted for a few more years, but his career wasn't the same after that. So
he was the Cooper DeJean of his time, basically, is what you're saying. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Apparently Chad also got hurt in the preseason, which I don't think I remember. According to the chat, I believe.
Mac, I'm going to take that as a compliment, Mac Nova. I'm a man. I'm 40. So I'm not too young to remember Pennington getting hurt. I may have memory holed it or blocked it out due to all the trauma, but I do remember it now.
All right. So, Paul, who are you most excited to watch tonight? Like, what player do you want to see pop up, catch your eye, whether it's a starter, whether it's a guy you think's going to get like a good 2 quarters playing because he's, a fringe, probably good with the 2s at the moment?
So I don't have a Codrington this year. Last year, famously, I was watching training camp videos and I was like, this dude, Brandon Codrington, is something. And I kind of keyed in on him. I haven't really gotten that spidey sense about anybody yet. And I know this is lame, but I just want to see Justin Fields like in a Jet actual game uniform, taking snaps, moving around. I think that's what I'm most excited to see. I know it's a pretty lame answer, but it's been a tough couple weeks for him in camp with him catching a lot of just like panic. And we heard from Steelers fans, we heard from Bears fans who said this is Justin Fields every single year in camp. It's impossible to simulate what he brings to a game in camp because they don't want him to do that. They want to try to have him grow as a passer. And so I'm curious what version of that we get tonight. Is it, hey, dude, it's preseason game 1, like, if you're getting pressure, just throw the ball away. Don't worry about scrambling. Or are they going to be like, hey, like if you feel it, cut it loose a little bit, but be safe and make sure you slide and make sure you get out of bounds. Is it the toned down safety version of his game, or is tonight a full learning night for him?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see him on many design runs. I think the scramble aspect is going to be the real question. Like, is he going to try to make those plays? Is he going to get out of bounds? Is he going to slide quickly? Or is he going to see if he can pop one? I hope they use his running, or I hope that he feels the most comfortable scrambling when they get to the red zone. I just feel like the Jets have been such a bad red zone team since like LaFleur was the OC. I think that was one of their biggest issues under Hackett. And if your quarterback can move and use their legs in the red zone, I just think it makes it a little easier. Like, I know the Eagles have the tush push, but like it just feels like all the teams who have quarterbacks who can move, like the Bills, like the Ravens, are always good in the red zone because they just have that additional threat that the Jets have been lacking. And the whole reason you signed Fields is for his mobility. So I really hope they at least put that on display tonight, and hopefully they get to the red zone. Actually, this game's going to be kind of high scoring. I think the Packers defense has some injuries. I know the Jets have some injuries on their defensive line. I do think the offenses are on both sides are going to probably put up points. Adrian Martinez is a little bit of a preseason legend. He isn't quite James Morgan status. Oh, and also, thank you, Just a Guy. The Gold Zone. Yeah. How could I forget? That is complete. That's
we already got the
comment
me. Section stealing thunder here because I was waiting for you to stop talking to say, I'm just happy we can call it the red zone again. I'm glad we're out of the Gold Zone phase.
I love gold members, so I appreciated the Gold Zone. I don't mind dying on that hill.
Bobby, yeah, I think we are taking a preseason over. We haven't gotten to that part of the show
Hammer it.
If you haven't paid your mortgage yet this month, go ahead and put that on the over of preseason game 1 if you're a real sicko.
Yeah, and we'll get into some bets later, but if you want like a nice like sprinkle dart throw, Justin Fields' first drive to rush for a touchdown is plus 1,000. If you're really trying to get let loose with it.
Oh my goodness, I might throw an irresponsible bet on that one.
I was just gonna say it's just too fun not to do.
I like what you brought up about the red zone capability of running quarterback. It's something the Jets have never had. I think the last time we saw a Jets quarterback actually scramble for a touchdown in the red zone might have been the Chad scramble against the Bills, where he juked somebody in slow motion around the edge and got out to the corner. The ability to have that option play where you can roll out with the quarterback and you can have one target down low at the goal line and then another target a little bit deeper, and then the option of the quarterback to just keep it and sprint towards the pylon. That's like a really, really unique thing for Jets fans that we have seen done to us for a very, very, very long time. And it'll be nice for once to at least have the capability, whether or not they're going to work that in or not. Tonight, probably not, but whether or not they work that in at some point during the season to be seen, but at least have the capability and the threat to do it, where it's not just, hey, they're definitely going to one of these two targets, right? There's now a third option, which is pretty nice. So that'll be exciting.
Yeah, the best part of the read option is you can still hand it to the running back. Like the threat of Justin Fields is always going to be there. So if you get the defender just to hesitate for half a second, you're already helping out your backs in a way that Rodgers, Wilson, Darnold just didn't have the capability of really doing because they're not athletically gifted like that. Do you want to go full in on the sicko bets? Like where do we want to take this? Like do we want to start firing them off? See what we got in the chamber?
So it's either bets or we pop this link in the Discord and we start asking people to call in and ask questions. I think we got to go one of those two directions. Let's save the.
Yeah, you want to save the bets for the end?
Let's save the bets for the end.
And see if we can get the sickos in here?
And see if we can get a couple people in here. I just dropped the link in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord and you're watching the stream on YouTube or X or Instagram Live or wherever you're watching it, what we're talking about is the Badlands Discord, which you get access to at the highest tier of Badlands. This is a commercial for Badlands now. The Discord is the best place to talk to other Jets fans on game days. It gets out of control. Pretty much every day, all day, it gets out of control. You'll pop in there at 3:00 in the morning when you get up to take a pee, and there will be people talking to each other about usually not the Jets things. So this is an ad to get into the Discord as soon as possible. Badlands War Room tier is the place to be. So it looks like we have our first guest, and it's a one that we all know, Joe Caparosa.
Oh, it's the boss man.
I did know. I just frantically came back from dinner from my ridiculous shirt.
You should see the shirt I was wearing before Meegs told me to go upstairs and change. I had the Badlands tank on today at Sesame Place.
That's a very impressive move. I like it.
I came home and just went straight to trying to set up the stream, and then Meegs got on, and I realized I looked like an insane person and was pretty sunburned from today, so I went upstairs to change.
He was trying out for like one of the henchmen, in a rival Irish gang for The Sopranos. So I really appreciated it.
I like that. That's a good feel for this show. How we doing so far? I see some decent engagement. Early metrics look good.
Yes, oh, yeah. I mean, said the mute button got Paul early, but he's rebounded well. So we're just embracing the chaos.
That's why we have the preseason. So,
So what do you think tonight? Give us we'll let you run for a few minutes here.
A few minutes. Then I got to stuff my 3 kids into bed so I could work all night tonight watching this game. I think we're going to get about 2 series from the starters. I would say offense and defense. All I really need is no injuries. I need 1 frisky field scramble and 1 impressive completion to someone who isn't Garrett Wilson, and I'll be generally happy with all that. I'm terrified to watch the defensive line, but could someone, Watts, McGregor, Taylor, Weaver, do something that gives me some kind of confidence that anybody else could get in the rotation besides Clemens? Unfortunately for the rookies, no Taylor, No Thomas, like Membu, like just hold up. No, negative highlights. There's not too much to get excited about. Maybe Pritchett with Gibson out, like you get a moment or two, but just stay clean. It's the first preseason game. Nothing that is newsworthy. I want no news out of this game. I don't want Fields went 2 for 11 with an interception. I don't want any injuries. I don't want any low lights. Just a good, clean game, limited penalties, and I'll be happy. I did bet the Jets money line because why not? And
why not?
Put Fields over 9.5 rushing yards and Malik Willis. I think it's under 80 passing yards because he can't throw. And I have Isaiah Davis over 19.5 rushing yards, which feels like a lock. So those are my wagers, and I'll shut up now, let you guys react to that, and then I will dive off.
Let me ask you something. Do you expect to see any surprises tonight? Any positional surprises? Any Brandon Stevens in a different spot than CB2? Any surprise wideout being out there running with the ones? Anything that we haven't heard about in camp? Do you expect any surprises, or do you expect pretty vanilla stuff tonight?
I think it's going to be pretty vanilla. Maybe a guy who we haven't talked about a ton, maybe a guy like Skinner plays more at receiver than we expect and gets some first half run. I do wonder if they'll take a turn each game with one of the bottom of the roster receivers and give them run with the starters to see, hey, if we throw you a go route, can you make a play? We'll do it week 1 with Skinner. We'll do it week 2 with Brandon Smith. We'll do it week 3 with Pritchett with a gadget play. Maybe that's it. I think Stevens will play corner. I think he'll play 2 series with Sauce and Carter. Get out of there. But I think that's it. It's the first preseason game. I think you've got to remember this for Glenn, his first time as a head coach. There's going to be some real nerves there, and maybe a little more vanilla and conservative than you'll get week 2, week 3 of the preseason. Again, I just want clean. I don't want – there should not be anything to talk about tonight outside of a few highlights that we get overexcited about. No injuries, no bloopers, and I'm happy.
Yeah. If anyone watched Georgia last year, they would always scheme up in the first quarter a shot play for Arian Smith, and he would get open. And there was there'd be a 30% chance he would actually catch it. And one of the college football writers I follow, basically betting on his over under longest catch is doing angel dust. So I kind of want to see if the Jets just keep that tradition going, where it's just
I will close with this, Meegs. I'm pretty sure that Zach Rosenblatt wrote an entire article in The Athletic directed to you with Arian Smith quotes saying that he was working on his catches by wearing special goggles to silence
strobe goggles.
Strobe goggles.
What if he had epilepsy? Literally, strobe goggles is crazy.
If Arian Smith catches a preseason touchdown, you have to wear said strobe goggles at the live show during your
100%
entire time.
We have to fire balls at him with a jugs machine while he's wearing the strobe goggles.
I like that. I'm all for that. All right. I'm about to be yelled at because I have 30 minutes to get these kids down. Kickoff. God bless, guys. I'll be ranting after the game. Oh, they're showing it on the screen. It's exciting. It's exciting to see them.
We're back.
We're back.
We're so back, dude.
I'm out.
Later. Always good to catch up with the boss, man.
Absolutely. We're having Connor popping in a little later, so stick around. I haven't seen the numbers drop at all. I think people are actually entertained by this. This is great.
Exactly. I think they just like 2 idiots talking about this team because they don't support the Jets for good football, instinctive, coaching, timely plays by the players. They embrace it for the chaos because that's what it's been for 15 years. So that's why the show's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. The last comment, right as you said that, was "We are all sickos," which I think is
exactly. We just want to watch the world burn.
Oh man, what is is there an Arian Smith longest catch number bet out there
for the preseason?
No.
For the preseason, no chance. But for the regular season, I think so. If we can start getting those over under 20.5, 25.5, dude, we're hitting send on those every week. It's more just he gets open. It's just the fact that he can catch and he might pull something while running, but he gets open. So I can't knock the man for that. Do we have any other sickos who are trying to get in here and chat with us?
Not yet. I think we got a lot of people are bashful, I guess, today.
Okay.
I encourage you, if you're in the Discord, hop in here.
Yeah,
ask a question.
Exactly. Yeah, we do not bite. There are no dumb questions here. We're going to ask each other a bunch of dumb questions, say a bunch of dumb things this entire season. So believe me, the intellectual level here is already on the Earth's crust.
Let's start talking about the bets. Let's go there.
Okay. All right. So I don't know if you were thinking about parlays while you were walking your kids around Sesame Place today, but how do you see this game going? What bet do you like the most?
I think 2-team rushing touchdowns for the Jets feels too easy.
Yeah, and I think it's like plus money.
Yeah, to get plus odds on that, where it's plus 178. What book did you pull that off of? FanDuel?
That's from FanDuel. Yeah, I'm not a sicko who's like cross multiplying across books. I kind of just keep it simple, and then if I see it other places, I'll pop that in. But I'm pretty much sticking to one book at this point.
Okay, so I mean, 2 rushing touchdowns between. Like, look, if it's Brees, that would be breaking one early because I don't think they're going to give him 10 carries on the first 2 drives, especially trying to punch one in down near the goal line. So it would mean he has to break one. But if you're telling me that like Isaiah Davis isn't getting a bunch of carries, Donovan Edwards, I would think if there's a Donovan Edwards over attempts, which I'm sure there isn't because it's preseason game 1 and he's a 4th line running back. But if there was a Donovan Edwards over attempts, I would be all over that. That day that I was at camp for the green and white, he was getting the ball like every other play. Every time he was on the field, he was touching the ball. So it felt like they were really trying to make an assessment of him, right? Like, let's just give him as many opportunities as possible. Maybe they really liked the guy personality wise, and they wanted to see if he was back from the injury. I didn't think it looked like he was, honestly, when I was there, but if there was an over attempts on him, I would love it. I do like the team total over 20.5. That feels easy. I think you definitely want to get a Nick Folk attempt, right? Like you need to knock the rust off him. He's 41 years old at this point. I don't know. I kind of like all the overs. This is like the last words before something heinous happens. But
this game is going to end 10-6 because we think they're going to score points. Just everyone in the chat listening, just know that's what's going to happen. I do like the 2 rushing touchdowns because they have Fields, they have Brees in the beginning, but also like Adrian Martinez can move. Like one of your backup quarterbacks is also a rushing threat, especially in the red zone when it just seems like when there's 2s and 3s running out there and a play doesn't work, the guys just like run anyway. Brady Cook isn't much of an athlete. Maybe he's deceptively quick for a white guy, but that's literally about it. So I think the Jets team total at plus 320 is just tasty, where it's like over 20.5. You need 3 touchdowns, or you can get like a couple field goals with that. And I feel like we're going to be sweating out of you make that bet because you want to be watching this game in the 4th quarter. You want to have a reason to watch this game. Incentivize yourself. When it's like 10:50, it's like 16-13, and you're like, Adrian Martinez, can you be a hero with 9 minutes to go and punch this one in for us? And for all of Badlands Nation, you will basically be inducted into our Ring of Honor if you bring that home for us.
Absolutely. So we have a caller, Meegs.
Okay.
Jake D. I'm about to let you in. First caller ever. Jake, welcome. Thanks for joining us, man. We're going to have to send you something for having the courage to be the first person to call into whatever we're doing here. So you'll have to let me know if you want a tank or a hat and reach out to us on Patreon after, and we'll get you something.
Cool. Thanks. I figured I'd call in since there wasn't anybody taking a shot, so I figured I'd give it a shot. I guess my question ultimately is there any chance that Green Bay is sitting a wide receiver that JBC is going to be traded for?
I think the Jets been trying to make that Jets Twitter has been trying to make that Packers trade, whether like Dobbs, whether it's Watson, who's got the knee injury. I feel like the Packers have like 5 wide receiver 2s that the Jets could use. I think you might be rooting for Dontavian Wicks to drop another pass and see if we can be his reclamation home, but I would love to see it. It seems like the Packers have too many bodies in that room. They took Matthew Golden in the first round, who's going to get some run tonight. It really seems like him and Jaden Reed are the only 2 locks for that roster. I think the Jets should be looking to add another receiver, whether it's on cutdown day, whether it's on like a pick swap or a trade. So I hope they got their eyes on that. I hope Muji is sitting near Gutekunst tonight and is already trying to put some feelers out. But I think if the Jets need to make a move before the season starts, I hope it's a secondary pass catcher.
Yeah, I think that in theory, it's a great idea, right? We have too many bodies at DB. They have too many bodies at wide receiver, and each team has a need at the other spot, right? So it all makes a ton of sense to make something happen like that. Player trades are hard to execute, right? Especially, in the preseason, like this close, somebody's through camp. It's almost like it's almost more likely that somebody gets cut and you try to grab somebody that way before they pull the lever of trying to work out a trade. So I think it's unlikely, but I think the fact that they're playing each other tonight, like maybe some conversations happen. Maybe the coaches talk to each other after the game. You get your eyes on somebody that's you're not just watching on film. You get to be on the field with it. So, man, it would be fun. It's definitely a better former Packer than the one we currently have at wide receiver. So I'm open to the idea.
Honestly, we could send them Alan Lazard back, and I would take Wicks or Dobbs. That'd be fantastic for me.
Jake, thanks for calling, man. I am going to shoot me a DM on the Discord, and we'll work something out. All right.
Thanks,
man.
Later, Jake. Thanks so much.
All right, we have another guy who spotted you on the train, Meegs.
Oh, look who it is, Jets. No.
What's going on, Meegs? How you doing, buddy?
Nice
Good.
shirt. Nice shirt, Gnome.
Love it.
Good,
yeah,
dude.
this is the go-to. This is the go-to. The G5 cat shirt is that and my old gray Badlands hat are two things I rep the most. So
love it. What's going on with you? That looks like a very beautiful place that you're at.
I'm up in Vermont, so I'm very fortunate that it's on NFL Network for this week.
Oh my God! In Vermont, you do what you want. Have a good weekend, man.
Yeah, I got the kids running around in the background. But what I'd say is, more than anything else, and as the biggest Adrian Martinez stan, and not for anything else than preseason love, because he actually did very well in the preseason last year, and I think he'll be great again this year. So everyone who has the opportunity to bet the overs for all 3 preseason games. I guess my question for you guys and what you guys thinking is who of the second tier guys? So obviously, any of the starters, offense or defense, they're going to play a series or 2. It's going to be hard to get a gauge. I guess offense is usually easier. So let's say on the defensive side, who would you like to stand out? From my little experience, from what I've seen so far, McCrary Ball has stepped up big time from a linebacker perspective. Do you think that he would have the green dot on for the second team? And then maybe from a safety perspective, obviously you have Malachi. Can he be playing or not? Who would you want to see from the second-ish borderline, roster making team? Would you want to show out today to solidify themselves to get more playing time during practice, get the opportunity for the preseason game 2 and 3, and really make it known, to make themselves solidified in the roster. If you think about back to last year, it was Codrington showed up in preseason week 1, played well in preseason week 2. We traded him for week 3 and got some draft picks for him, right? So who would be that type of guy that you would want to see to show out that isn't part of the let's call it starting lineup on either side of the ball?
The easy answer was Azrae Thomas before he hurt his shoulder. He would have been the nailed on, even though he probably wasn't going to play because they have Stevens, they have Carter, they have Sauce, just showing competency in the same way that Eccles did very early on is that CB4 would have really made you feel good about the depth. But I think it's any safety. Malachi Moore is, I think, the most willing to do. Anyone who can make Tony Adams safety 3, I think, is exactly what you're trying to hope for this preseason, because I think we've seen what Tony Adams' floor is as a starter, and if he's your third safety, he's only on the field for dime packages. I just think you feel so much better about the secondary. That's the unit I think we have the most faith in, because not that Glenn's coaching just the secondary, but that's where he was a position coach. We saw, even as a coordinator, the development the Lions DBs had. Even as a head coach, you're hoping you're not losing that, because one of the reasons why he was such a good coordinator is his player development. You hope some of that does carry over. So I'm hoping the safeties pop for that reason, just because I really don't want to see bubble wrap get missing tackles week 1 against DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a couple controversial answers. Without Mason Taylor on the field, Jeremy Ruckert, show me something, dude. It's time, right? It's time. It's now or never for Jeremy Ruckert. And you're going to get some opportunities tonight. I'm sure we'll see some Stone Smart as well. But Jeremy Ruckert, show me something and show me that you want to be a part of this team moving forward. I'm going to say another really, really controversial one.
Don't say Michael Clemens.
Michael Clemens has been running with the ones, right? So
No, you're right. You're right.
So again,
he's running with the devil at this point. But
show me something, right? Because he was so bad last year, and I was standing right in front of the Bills. Josh Allen, everybody in the stadium knew that he was going boot left, and Clemens just got statued on the edge. Like I was standing right there, so that's going to be my memory of Michael Clemens, I think, forever. But he's been getting a lot of love. I'm not sure how much of it is just like Texas A&M with Aaron Glenn, and he's like looking out for his guy. And like Joe always likes to say, he looks the part. He looks tough. He carries the bat with the barbed wire on it, and he's got rings on his foot. Like, show me something. Please show me you can play football, because that's a story tomorrow. If he looks bad and we're all like, oh my God, is Jermaine Johnson's Achilles okay? Like, is everything going to be okay on the D line? We're already thin at D tackle. So like,
sign Clowney. It's just like the number one thing that's going to be trending after the game, because Clemens doesn't set the edge or they run right at him. And like that could be a huge storyline coming after tonight. If whether it's Jacobs or any of the Packers running backs just completely run towards that side and don't give him any respect.
100%.
It's actually kind of funny, because I think that obviously Mason Taylor's spot is secured. To me, it's actually Jeremy Ruckert versus like John Beck, because to me, like Beck has been a usable. I mean, right now we don't have, I'll call it in the traditional like 12 formation, like we don't have a blocking tight end. They're trying to make Ruckert, who was very good as a blocker coming out of college. He was decent in his rookie year. Obviously, I think he had not great coaching over the last few years, but like they're hoping that between Mason Taylor and Jeremy Ruckert, he can be the more trusted blocking tight end of the two, because, Stone Smart is not that. But if he can't do that and he's not providing anything on the receiving end, like Beck will do that. I mean, he could be a fullback and tight end or, whatever else. Like, I think his spot is more open, not because of anything else, but any other tight end in the room. It's more just like when you're adding it up, do you want a seventh wide receiver, Pritchett or Brandon Smith, whatever else? Or do you want Beck versus Ruckert? And Beck could be, you could run with two tight ends with Mason Taylor, Stone Smart, and Beck being the tight end slash H-back hybrid, whatever else. And Ruckert's not there. Like, you could reasonably do that if it doesn't show out, considering that they might want to keep extra active roster spots for cornerbacks that are deeper, like Stiggers or whatever else. So, that to me, I mean, Ruckert's a great thought there, not because like, hey, you need to show me something, but it's not show me something versus Stone Smart or Mason Taylor. It's show me something versus John Beck, who will be taking your spot, and I would trust you to take your spot as being a trusted blocker and whatever receiving option out of the backfield. So,
yeah, I think there's a couple other worthy call outs. You said Marcelino McCrary Ball. That's a guy that, is one of those like weird hybrid guys that was around last year. He's listed first on the depth chart this year. Jamin Davis, like, your reclamation project. Are you going to be able to do anything here? So that would be one to watch. Somebody in the comments said Kiko Maigoa. Like, show me some speed, right? What do you have?
At least with him, he's a rookie that you. Yeah, Maigoa though, you can at least maybe keep him off and put him back on the practice squad without him maybe getting stolen, being a later draft pick or everything like that. Like, I think Ruckert, you couldn't pass through the practice squad. I think someone else would take him, right? Even someone like Beck. I think someone else would take him at that point. So,
agreed.
Alrighty.
No,
Jets,
thanks for joining
us. Better
us.
be seeing you in 2 weeks, man.
I'll be there at the live show, guys. See you guys later.
Love it. Can't wait to see you.
God, Jets know. What a guy.
Nobody better. Oh man, Devontae Adams is on my screen. This must be a replay of their game.
Well, he's playing with the Rams. I'm shocked he's playing in
No, he's not. He's on the sideline getting interviewed.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Wearing sunglasses inside.
Yep, that sounds like a wide receiver one move. Yeah, sunglasses inside. I mean,
what about like the players that we all got overly excited about too quickly last year, like McGregor, like Sandpaper Watts, like Leonard Taylor? And to talk about that, let's bring in Connor Rogers.
Oh,
hi fellas, how we doing?
I can't believe you stopped watching Frankie Montas just to come on the show, bud. I appreciate it.
Fun fact, he hadn't come in yet. So I left to come on the show when he was coming into the game because he's so bad they had to open the game with Reed Garrett. Which, by the way, yeah, I had a bad week gambling, which happens. That's what's called gambling. So the reason I am on this late is what I was sweating was because this is how deep we are in looking for something to break the drought. I bet the Mets and Brewers to tie after the first inning because I knew Reed Garrett was opening for Frankie Montas. So once I got that clear, then I was time to come on the show.
That's a dark place, but I'm glad it worked out.
It's like that's when you need some kind of win, and we got the win. So now we're climbing back to normal.
Oh, it's fantastic. We were just
going to be 4-1 when we get off this show, but
easily. By the way, I love this. You guys have been I was watching this with volume. I had the Mets on mute because you guys are great, but also that's the stage of the Mets season right now. That and I love my buddy Steve Gelbs. He's doing a great job, but the Mets just they need to be background right now.
Yeah, I'm actually
save us all.
You got to earn the main screen.
Every season I take a mid-season sabbatical where I'm like, I just need a little break for a couple weeks because I'm spiraling with the negativity and I'm in it right now. I have not watched a game this week. I'm keeping track of it. I'm looking at the scores. But...
You were quiet in the group chat the last couple of nights. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why all of us were having taking turns having meltdowns. Yeah.
And
everyone turns into Frank the Tank at one point.
Yeah.
I was halfway even reading the messages. I was like, this is too much. I can't even deal with this right now.
No, I get it. I actually wish I was you. The problem is I don't have kids, so I don't have enough, and it's not football season yet, so I don't have enough to do where they find a way to just ruin my night. But preseason football is the best because besides an injury, it really can't ruin your night. I liked what Joe said. It's almost like be boring tonight. Just don't go 2 for 11, don't get hurt, and it feels like people won't complain too much about what happens tonight.
Yeah, and if they win, they'll just victory lap that Aaron Glenn is undefeated for an entire week and going right into the Snoopy Bowl, which is always good for a laugh.
I feel like despite it not being a good tenure, Saleh was won a lot of preseason games. He
had some great moments. The James Morgan Hail Mary is a top 10 Badlands. Remember where you were since the guys have started the show with the Jets.
Yeah, I tonight might be, with no Tyrod. Tyrod's the type that could really carve up a second string defense really badly. So no Tyrod tonight. This might be, and the Packers say they're playing starters. The Packers are the type of team where that could mean Jordan Love throws 3 passes and at the 50-yard line they pull him out, which good for them. That's a nice place to be. So we'll see how long this ultimately goes for both teams.
Yeah, I hope Jordan Love actually has to throw and they can't just make 7 runs and get to our 10-yard line because our starting 2 defensive tackles are not playing. And we have one good starting defensive tackle as it is.
Talk about a pre-made bad situation just getting out of control within the first 5 minutes of the first preseason game. If they march right down the field on the starting defense, just running the ball, oh my God.
Right. And there's a lot of things in preseason where you sit there and you go, well, this doesn't matter because they're not showing this, or this doesn't matter because this guy wasn't playing. The Jets' run defense right now is something everybody should be watching. And it's a little bit of, schematically and responsibility wise cleaning things up from last year because there was problems on those issues, but it's also a talent issue. Let's not, the Jets have issues that are, and Glenn has emphasized this, coaching will fix them. And I believe him. I haven't bought into that yet at defensive tackle after Quinnen, who's obviously out with the calf injury. So I'm very curious if they think they're going to, look really smart. And they went the budget route with not just Nadi, but Cowher, Tefele. We'll see if Leonard Taylor can make some plays. It's been an oddly quiet summer for him after it was a loud summer for him last year. I was saying to somebody today, it might have been Dan and Will, because, Dan obviously has liked him for a while and was asking about him in camp. And it feels like Leonard Taylor's a guy where when the lights come on is when you kind of expect him to make things happen. But at the end of the day, that kind of limits your opportunities to shine.
Yeah, they need someone from that group to at least emerge, just to be a warm body or
rotational level play. Yeah. Literally a rotational level player is what we're talking about here.
And Glenn did some rotation on the D line in Detroit, but way less. The top end players were getting way more snaps than Quinnen and our top guys were getting last year. So I would expect to see some level of rotation, but we don't really have the bodies to be rotating on a consistent basis, even like the Lions did, even if you dial it back a little bit. So it's interesting. I mean, I'm not expecting. I asked Joe when he was on here earlier, do you expect to see any surprises, like positional surprises, like Brandon Stevens doing something weird, playing a little bit of a slightly different position? And I would ask the same to you on the defensive line. Is there anybody that you think could slide inward occasionally?
I mean, I would think they'll learn that this is probably a long shot, but maybe they're thinking Clemens because he's a big end, right? They liked it. JFM was a big end, right? This oversized edge player. That what you like about the jumbo-sized edge player is they can be a heavier presence on the outside, and then on passing downs, you can kick them inside because they're not a 0 against the run at a 3-tech alignment, a 4-eye alignment. Even, I mean, Shade Nose is getting a little crazy, but if you think the team's going to throw, ultimately it doesn't matter. That's why we're in a league where Micah Parsons stands up over guards and centers, and people just don't care, right? If you have them in a predictable situation. So that's the only guy I could think of in that role. I hate to, constantly, hammer this. I don't know if he's good enough. You have to be really good to do that. That is a difficult role to play out from a 7 to a 5 to a 4-eye and a 3. I mean, that's why JFM was such an underappreciated player, because the guys that do that traditionally don't get the opportunities to pile up big numbers, like the way Bryce Huff and Will McDonald's rush, which is typically wider alignments, pin your ears back, beat the tackle on the outside shoulder. When he starts to overset, well, it opens up the inside door, the inside gate, and then you could start to counter on the inside move. So I think I just kind of shrug my shoulders and have thought to myself, Muji and Glenn have ultimately punted on rounding out that spot until next year, because there's only so many spots you can fix in one offseason. And if they think they can coach through it, then I'll tip my cap to them, because that would be something that would be really impressive this year.
And there could be a waiver claim in the plans also. I mean, You never know who shakes loose at the end of the preseason. There are teams that are deeper at that position than we are. So JFM was a waiver claim, way back when, from the Rams when he was young. So you never know what could happen.
So was Quincy. They've gotten front 7 guys recently.
And that's it's a good dovetail into the comment that we just got here, which is how many players that are not on the team right now will be on the opening day roster. So like if you go on by position group, like it's probably, you're talking about a wide receiver, you're talking about a D tackle, maybe you're talking about a linebacker, maybe you're talking about some offensive line depth. So like top end, you're talking 4. Where do you think it more likely lands?
Yeah, this is always tricky, because in your mind, you're thinking, okay, like 6 spots could be different. And typically coaches don't love to do that, because you are throwing this guy into the fire that hasn't been with you all summer. What can you truly ask of him while you're preparing for the grind of an NFL season out of the gate? So I guess I'd say 3, because the Jets do have so many volatile areas of the team where you kind of nailed it, PK. You could think a wide receiver can kind of fit in with this group, especially that's also an indictment, in my opinion, and this could change through the games, but talking just about practices, like Corley has not done anything where that's an open roster spot. We've talked about defensive tackle a lot. I don't think they need to go that route necessarily for return man. They obviously are comfortable with their quarterback depth chart. They even, oddly enough, do have some offensive line depth. Obviously, not a lot of teams have high-end depth. I don't know how far out they'll look to claim that. They're deep at corner. So you're looking at interior defensive line. I wonder if they look at the edge rush group. And one of these guys has to make a play, whether that's Watts, McGregor, Barron. Is Barron the least talked about draft pick of all? I mean, say what you want about Aaron. Say what you want about Aaron Smith, right? Like, say what you want about Aaron Smith, but Smith has had those insane highs and lows. There's moments in practice where he drops the ball. There's moments in practice he has so much speed and makes a great play. Barron, I don't know. I was only at camp 1 full day, but I don't ever hear the guy's name. So go out there in the second half and get a sack and show people, there was big expectations for him at Tennessee once upon a time. I thought he was a little quiet after he transferred to Miami. We'll see if he could do anything. That's a really great question. I wonder how many claims they will ultimately make that they feel like they can actually change things for them. I'd say 3.
Yeah, 2.5 feels like the over-under.
2.5
feels like the over-under. Yeah, if I was setting it.
Let me flip the question around on you, because this was a big topic a couple years ago where, look how many Jets players got claimed, right? And then the team sucked anyway, so it didn't mean anything. How many players that are on the Jets roster right now do you think end up on another week 1 NFL roster? And if you go by position group, we're talking about cornerbacks. Like
somebody from the secondary, 100%. Yeah. I would even extend it to safety. It's not that the Jets have high-end talent at safety, but their battle for the 3rd and 4th safety spots is so even, and those guys can kind of play. McCrary Ball at linebacker is the sneaky one. He has made a lot of plays in camp. I actually think he's just going to make the team. So if he didn't make the team, because this regime doesn't have the attachments to some of the depth linebackers on the roster, and he's just been really good in camp, so he probably makes the team. Wow, that's a fascinating question. I mean, if they cut Wanwu, who's a return only, because they just have so many running backs, he should be on a team as a return man because he's that good of a returner. It's not a lot of guys, honestly.
Does Gibson make another team besides this one if he goes?
He gets a shot.
I think so. I think one of the tight ends will too. If they keep one of the tight ends, will probably stick somewhere. If you cut like any on the one non-Mason Taylor guys.
Yeah, and I wonder, honestly, I could see them claiming one. That's just Ruckert has to have a big summer. They have. I don't know a lot of moments in my Jets fandom analyst life that they've taken a guy in the 2nd round and have inserted him to being at the top of his position group from the moment he scanned the ID card at the building. Mason Taylor is a 2nd round pick, and they were like, "You're our starting tight end." And I like that they didn't get cute with it because he's just so much better than everything else they have. But it's also a little bit of an indictment at the position that you don't even, you know what I mean? You don't even give the guy a ramp up period into that. He's just out there as the number 1 when he was healthy. So, Rucker, Stone Smart is a role player, and I think he's good at his role, but that Ruckert role, I really do wonder about.
Yeah, so I think David Harris was the last 2nd round pick who just immediately got there. That's then just
probably it. And part of that is them misevaluating talent in the 2nd round for way too long. But then, part of it is also just that, that doesn't happen in the NFL a ton.
No.
So we're going to do an FMK. I think the sports version of it is called, start, bench, cut. So order of likelihood to be on the roster: Ruckert, Gibson, Corley, top to bottom.
Oh, this is easy.
It's an order. You just named it.
Yeah, start Ruckert, bench Gibson, cut Corley.
Okay.
I would put the odds of that order at -700.
Yeah.
So what I really wanted to get at, though, was which of those 3 is on the roster still?
I think
do any of them make it? Do all of them make it?
I think they like Ruckert more than everyone else. Or once again, it could be like defensive tackle where they're like, we don't have enough assets right now to figure out that position. Let's give Ruckert a chance to grow into it. And if he's not good enough, we'll figure it out next year, which was a little surprising to me because this is an offensive coordinator that comes from a place where the DNA of the offense, the 2nd tight end matters a lot. So I was a little surprised, but I think they like him more, than the consensus. And then, Gibson's hurt already and just limited. And then Corley, Corley needs the Clowney summer. I mean, of games right now. There's been nothing. All you have to do is say what's the most memorable moment of Malachi Corley as a Jet? And it's him dropping the ball before the end zone. And then you go, okay, what's the second one? Can anyone answer?
I think it's something on Twitter. It's not on the field.
I don't even know if he touched the ball a 2nd time.
I think they threw him. Didn't they throw him a screen on a really 3rd and long one time and it just got tackled? And I think that's the one play I remember from him. And that could have even been preseason. So
sounds very Jet-like.
Yeah.
The old 3rd and long bubble screen.
Yes. Did you guys take a caller between Joe and I?
You
took a few. Okay. So I had to transition from watching you guys to running up to where I record. I'm very excited to watch that back because I think this is an element of Badlands that we have never done.
Yeah, I mean,
Jets Gnome. I can't shake the guy. He follows me.
Jets Gnome is a legend. Yeah, you got to have him on. I saw him at camp. He's great. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Great attendance rating from Jets Gnome.
Absolutely.
I'm going to let you guys do your thing. I can't wait to see you guys. Congrats on the new show. It's awesome. and I'll talk to you guys literally on text in like 10 minutes.
All right.
Thanks for joining us,
Thanks so
Connor.
much, man.
All right, we got about 5 minutes to game time. I think Will wants to hop in briefly, so I just texted him. We can vamp for a minute until he gets on, and then we'll give him 5 minutes, and we'll get ready to watch preseason game 1. Football is back, dude.
Dude, the Jets are back. Have the Jets ever been this? I mean, this is when we feel the best about the Jets. They haven't broken our hearts. We haven't had any reason to be down on them. It's been a very boring summer, which we all asked for. Don't make a lot of headlines. Just go about your business. Take some smart draft picks. Make some start signings. Don't over leverage yourself. I think what we can chat about now is I think Connor's point that not that they like punted on the season, but like there are just some positions where they're just like how much ground can we really gain by getting different bodies who could just be as bad as what we have? There wasn't I think they should have taken a defensive tackle in the 4th round and then tried to take the Arian Smith version later. But these are all tiny moves on the margins where it's is a 4th round defensive tackle who can be your defensive tackle 3 and then maybe can push for a starter role in week 13. Is that changing your season? Is having a tight end 2 who can do more than just block and actually has tight end 1 upside that you signed to play with Mason Taylor, so you don't need Mason Taylor to be good right away. Would you love to have that? Yes. Are you going to spread yourself thin to get that? Probably no. When your over under realistically is 5.5. We think the Jets are going to go over that. We think the Jets are going to be frisky. You and Will, I think they're going to be a little better than I do. But there's only so much you can do. Speak of the guy, look at the hair's looking good, buddy.
What's up, boys?
How you doing? Are you just pacing around the house trying to keep your cool?
Yeah, of course. I'm just trying to see how many TikTok videos I could post in the next 3 hours. How we doing, boys? Good show so far.
We're good, man. We're right at the if you consider the NFL season like a roller coaster ride, we're right at the top where we've been slowly on the up ramp the whole time, and we're about to tip over the edge here. So I've been busy enough today that I haven't really thought about it, but honestly, right now I'm starting to get a pit in my stomach.
Yeah, no, I'm honestly more excited for next week, just with Jets Giants practices. But it'll be nice to just get some game action, some film to break down, talk about something other than training camp stats. My boy JBC not traveling, tough look for the brand, but it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, one of our callers was trying to trade him for either Wicks, Dobbs, or any of the Packers receivers before. So your guy's under fire with all the depth we got in the corner.
We're dumping on my boys. What are we doing here? I've had enough.
Will, what do you expect to see tonight? What do you want to leave here with?
I want to leave here with no stupid shit like that. I know it's a preseason game, but the scrimmage last week wasn't great. Did they learn? Did they improve? Did they not? Is it a moot point? Obviously, everyone stay healthy. I'd like to see the offense pick up a first down or two and not have 2 series. No, you know what I mean though. I don't want it to be back-to-back series. Then it's we're pushing it a 3rd series. We really wanted 1. We were going to give the guys 2 if they didn't go well. So a couple of first downs, I'm good. I don't need to see more from the starters. Defensively, it's literally 1 series for me and get out because that group is really good and you just can't risk it. Other than that, we're not going to get Mason Taylor. We're not going to get Azaria. Membu probably only plays 2 or 3 series. So it's really can Barron, Kiko, Arian Smith, can one of those guys, or Malachi Moore, can one of those guys be oh, this is a fun rookie. This is 1 week. It is what it is. After that, I don't know, can one of Monroe, Stigers, I was going to say JBC, can one of those guys stand out? And then lastly, I would say, as much as everyone loves Adrian Martinez, and I gave Brady Cook quite a hard time the first 2 practices, because genuinely the second practice was the worst practice of football I've ever seen in my life. He has actually been more fun and is probably a more viable 3rd NFL quarterback. And again, I know it doesn't matter that much. But hey, did they find a long-term backup? Probably not, but maybe I'd love to see if there's even a shot. So, I don't know. Can he go 19 for 37? Because he's dude. He is he's not Brett Favre, obviously.
No.
But he plays very much runs around and just throws 100-mile-per-hour fastballs. I don't know. Can he give you 1 or 2 exciting plays where you're you know what? Adrian Martinez is 37 years old and doesn't play a sustainable NFL style of football. So we'll keep Brady Cook as our emergency QB.
Yeah, Brady
Yeah, I
Cook
mean-
had like the Jake Browning like college career. Can he have the Jake Browning NFL? Like Jake Browning wasn't an instant backup. Like it took him a while to get there. I remember when the Bengals even picked him as their backup, it was like, oh wow, they're going to put that behind Burrow. Like people remember he was kind of middling at Washington the same way Cook was at Mizzou. So if you can get that out of him, that's a fantastic UDFA.
Oh yeah, it's a home run.
And I think the glass half full on Adrian Martinez is like the dude showed capability of growth between Nebraska and Kansas State.
Oh, yeah.
He was unplayable at Nebraska. I could when the Jets signed him that first year, I was like, the same Adrian Martinez from Nebraska? Like, no way. That dude's
I was
not
like,
in the
dude,
NFL.
he's my age. Like, what are we doing here?
So hey, I mean, look, I think you summed it up well. We can get out of here healthy, get out of here with just some semblance of positivity where you feel good about what happened. That'll be a success. Boys, it's 8:00. It's time to watch some football.
Let's watch some football, boys.
Great
Congrats
show.
on the first couple episodes. It's been fantastic. Everybody, make sure you guys are supporting them and everybody else. And next week, I'll hop on again and get some time with the boys.
No doubt.
Beautiful.
Come see us at the show. 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
2
baby.
weeks from
Buy
today.
your tickets, people.
Buy them.
Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Later.
Enjoy the game.